Okay, picture this. You're standing by a wild, rushing river, somewhere way up north. There's a hidden power at work right under your feet. A quiet, green architect that's literally holding the very land together. It's a plant so powerful, it engineers the entire world around it. And you know what? Most of us have probably walked right past it without a clue.
Today, we're pulling back the curtain on this incredible ecosystem engineer. It's a plant that's a pharmacy, a pantry, and a protector of the watershed, all rolled into one. But before we get into any of that, we have to start with something that is absolutely critical.
I need to be really clear here. This is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. It is absolutely essential that you consult with botanical and medical professionals before ever handling or consuming any wild plants. And as you're about to see, making a mistake out there can have incredibly serious consequences.
All right. With that said, let's meet our subject, Petasites frigidus, also known as sweet coltsfoot or Arctic butterbur. Now, this isn't just some random plant on the forest floor. Oh no, this is a foundational species. It's a true pioneer that shows up in really difficult, disturbed places and just gets to work, building an ecosystem right from the ground up.
So, how in the world does it do all this engineering work? Well, the secret is its incredible underground stem system. It's called a rhizome, and it absolutely thrives in chaotic, high-energy spots like floodplains and steep ravines. This network spreads out like a tough, living net, physically gripping the soil and holding stream banks together. It's basically nature's own rebar, providing some seriously critical erosion control.
So, with a plant this important, being able to identify it with 100% certainty is everything. This is absolutely not a plant for casual guesswork, because the botanical markers are super clear and consistent. Let's walk through exactly what you need to look for. Okay, so there are 4 universal identifiers for the entire sweet coltsfoot family. First, it's kind of strange looking, but beautiful flowers pop up in the early spring, a lot of times before the big leaves even show up. Second, all the leaves are basal. That means they come right out of the ground from that underground rhizome. You won't see them on a central upright stem. Third, the leaves themselves are huge, with these really long stalks, or petioles, and veins that spread out just like the fingers on your hand. And finally, this one's a dead giveaway. If you flip a leaf over, the underside is almost always this distinct silvery white color with a soft, kind of woolly feel to it. And what's really cool is how this plant adapts. I mean, depending on the environment, the leaf shape actually changes. You've got the palmatus variety on coastal stream banks, and its leaves are deeply cut, just like a hand. Then there's the frigidus variety in cold marshes, which has this really distinct arrowhead shape. And as you go way up into the tundra and high alpine zones, the leaves of the frigidus and nivalis varieties get more compact, almost kidney-shaped, to handle those brutal conditions.
Now, beyond its incredible role in the ecosystem, sweet coltsfoot has this deep, rich history as a cornerstone of indigenous medicine. We're talking millennia of this plant being a trusted part of the pharmacy, used with a really sophisticated understanding of its properties.
And this is a perfect example of that precise knowledge. The Quinault people of the Pacific Northwest, they would make an infusion from the roots to use as a healing wash for eye problems. You see, this wasn't some vague folk remedy. It was a specific preparation for a specific purpose.
And it was often used in pretty complex formulas. The Delaware people, for example, they didn't just use coltsfoot by itself. They actually combined it with other powerful plants like mullein and plumroot to make a potent syrup for coughs and other respiratory issues. That shows really deep pharmacological knowledge, right?
And maybe nowhere is its versatility clearer than with Alaskan native peoples. I mean, they used it for just about everything. Young leaves were food. Dried leaves were a flavoring for tobacco. Those huge, mature leaves, they became natural, breathable lids for berry containers, helping to stop mold during winter storage. And of course, it was a go-to medicine for colds and chest congestion.
This practical use even made its way into early settler culture. Frontier families adopted the plant, and they called it butterbur for a very literal reason. They used its big, cool leaves to wrap and preserve butter on long journeys, way before refrigeration.
But as we shift from historical use to modern science, the picture gets a whole lot more complicated. We now understand the specific chemical compounds inside this plant, and with that knowledge comes a really serious need for caution.
So here's the bottom line. Sweet coltsfoot contains compounds called pyrrolizidine alkaloids, or PAs for short. These are natural toxins the plant makes, and certain types of them, when you ingest them, can be processed by your body into stuff that causes severe, cumulative, and sometimes irreversible liver damage.
We can even see the exact chemical structure of one of these toxic PAs right here. It's called sencurkine. This isn't folklore, this is chemical reality. The presence of compounds like this is exactly why modern herbalists only recommend using commercially prepared, certified PA-free extracts, and it's why consuming the wild plant is so strongly discouraged.
But you know what? The risk from those PAs is actually manageable if you know what you're doing. The most immediate, life-threatening danger with this plant isn't actually about its own chemistry. It's about a deadly case of mistaken identity.
Okay, I need everyone to really focus here. This slide is the most important one in this entire explainer. Sweet coltsfoot often grows near a highly toxic plant called Veratrum viridae, or false hellebore, and mistaking them can be fatal. The differences are crystal clear, but only if you know what to look for. Remember, sweet coltsfoot leaves are all basal. They come right from the ground on long stems. False hellebore has leaves that are alternate, growing up a thick central stalk. Coltsfoot leaves have those long petioles, but hellebore's leaves clasp the stem. And look at the veins. Coltsfoot is palmate, like a hand. Hellebore has these deep, parallel veins that give it a pleated look. Knowing this isn't just important, it is literally a matter of life and death.
So we're left with this really complex, fascinating story, right? A plant that is a powerful ecosystem engineer, a pharmacy that was revered for millennia, and one that contains its own chemical defenses while growing right next to a deadly mimic. It doesn't ask for our fear, but it absolutely demands our respect and our deep knowledge. And that kind of leaves us with a final question. In a world that loves easy answers, how do we learn to hold this kind of complexity and honor all that this incredible plant truly is?